Education. So here I am very thankful to HRDC Mysuru and Dr. Lingama Vetsuru for giving me this opportunity. So here thinking about the teachers' participation, and we are going to teach our students to teach their students. So here one is expected to have a knowledge about their learning requirement and their capacity. So because of this, I have selected this topic, learning styles and information processing. And one should know how we are going to process the information and how they are going to respond to us in order to assimilate the knowledge which we are going to provide. So based on this, this learning styles have been developed. So let me share my PPT. Is it visible? Hello?
No, madam. No, madam.
No, madam.
Not visible.
It's not visible, madam.
Not visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Let me share. Now, can you?
Yes, madam. It is
Yes,
visible.
ma'am.
It
Yes,
is visible,
madam. Yes,
madam.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, fine. See here. Let me start this session with a quote. All children are created equally and differently. So here I would like to give brief information about this statement. So we know that biologically, all the children will be created in the same procedure, and then same aspects will be considered. So that is why probably they have given the statement, created equally and differently. See here, one more dimension is there, they are created differently. So why we need to think of differently? It's very, very significant to consider this factor. So though the same facilities are given to the human race, because of many reasons, they'll be endowed with different capabilities and capacities. So because of this, we have to consider this fact as significant in our education system. So we need to train our students irrespective of their capability. So here we have to think of providing appropriate learning situation in order to make them to learn the concepts. So effectiveness of learning depends on how we are going to engage our children in learning the thing, and what materials we are going to give, and how we are going to give situations to the students. So that is why we need to understand the process of processing of information. We know that this very well. So here, in communication, we will identify the 4 components. We know this: sender, that means informer, receiver, information, and medium of instruction. See, all these are interrelated to each other and inter-influence each other. So sender provides information according to the receiver's knowledge and receiver's requirement. We know this very well. So at the same time, sender is hello. Shall I continue? Okay. Sender is expected to provide information according to the receiver's requirement, and it should be transformed in such a way that the receiver must be in a position to receive the knowledge. And now, so here selection of medium of instruction also depends on the receiver. So here everything revolves around the receiver's expectation and receiver's nature. So this we need to consider: receiver expectations and receiver's nature. This is very, very important. So how a learner is going to receive the knowledge, this is very, very important. So if we are able to understand this, then we will be in a position to think of creating effective learning situation. So creating such an effective learning situation again depends on the way in which the learner is going to receive the knowledge. So based on it, various educationists and theorists have proposed a good number of theories, and they try to trace out how the learner is going to receive the knowledge and construct the knowledge. So here, is there any modalities or is there any ways of receiving the information? This they were trying to focus, and this they were trying to find out. So in the process of finding the receiver's nature, they were able to identify good number of modalities of learning. So here, educationists thought of identifying the ways through which the learners are going to learn the concepts. So here, this learning styles actually refers to the good range of theories. There are more than 70 learning styles. So here, mainly they focus on this concept. Individuals differ in their learning. This we know very well. So how do they differ? So does it depends only on their capability? Does it depends only on their intrinsic motivation as extrinsic motivation, or something else? When they tried to trace out all these things during 1970s itself, they were trying to analyze the learning situation. Through what mode learners will be able to grasp the information very well. So when they tried to do this, they identified individuals have got their own nature in grasping the thing and understanding the concepts. When they were trying to trace out the track in which the learners learn the concepts, they were able to identify one significant fact that each and every learner prefers certain aspects. So if we tap their preferences, definitely they will be in a position to understand the concepts very well. So in this connection, they tried to find out the ways in which they were able to understand the concepts. So here they gave different modalities and specific modalities true. And then when they were trying to identify their specific modalities, they were able to trace out one significant fact that yes, the learners learn according to their interest, their preferences. When they try to focus their attention, so many psychologists and educationists were able to identify the ways in which the learners learn the concepts. So here, they tried to analyze the learning styles. Is there any ways of matching this learning styles with the method of teaching? They were trying to identify this one. So we know different types of methods of teaching. So here they tried to experiment with the methods of teaching which they were using, and to what extent the learners are going to learn the concepts. So here good number of questionnaires were developed on the basis of their focus. So here they were able to identify learners learn according to their preferences. Now they tried to identify what are their preferences, how do they learn, and what best could be done in order to engage them actively in learning the situation. So here they started focusing their attention on obtaining information on this, and also they created experimental styles also, and also theoretical thematic styles also they tried to use. As a result of it, they were able to analyze the whole learning process on the basis of their requirement and preferences. When they were able to identify their preferences, they started matching that with the existing methods of teaching. So is there anything which will match our existing method of teaching? So when they try to elaborate this idea, they were able to identify that all the learners won't learn effectively through one method of teaching. So we have to think of combining the different methods of teaching too. And at the same time, there are specific items which will influence the learners in learning the concepts. Though we give information through different modes, then they'll not be in a position to understand the concepts. So what best could be done then? So they thought of selecting appropriate ways, whether they are good at listening something, whether they're good at viewing something, whether they're good at doing something. So what best could be done, how we can select the methods of teaching. So when they were experimenting this one, they were able to analyze the situation that learning is completely dependent on the learner's preferences. Now they started identifying their preferences. So here, as a result of it, many theories were developed. Here, have focused on only a few theories, among which David Kolba's model. So here, David Kolba and his associates developed the theories like this. So they said that learning styles can be developed according to the learner's nature. First one is accommodator, and then converger, and then diverger, and the last one assimilator. So here they started focusing their attention on how we can classify the learners on the basis of their nature. David Kolba's model says that first one, accommodator, completely depends on concrete experiences, and through their active participation in the experiment, they can derive concrete ideas, and then are very strong in hands-on experiments. That means practical work. They are very strong in practical work, and they learn better learning by doing. That means they can exercise whatever that is being given to them, and they can do experiments, and through that only they'll be able to concretize the concepts. This was the idea given by the David Kolbas regarding accommodators. And then converger. So this is quite a little bit a higher level, wherein the students are able to depend on here also experiments only. They can conduct experiment, and they can understand the concept, and at the same time they participate actively in practical work and strong in experimental aspects too. So here they are in a position to apply their knowledge. For example, here we can think of those who can understand the concepts and apply their knowledge. Yeah.
Madam, please, may you make it a slideshow?
Yes. Mail ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ madam. Slideshow click ಮಾಡಿ. Individual slides.
Yeah. Is it moving?
No. Click ಮಾಡಿ madam. Individual slide ಮೇಲೆ. Slideshow from the current slide ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ.
Okay. Right. So 1 minute.
ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಟೂಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಸ್. Yes madam. Okay madam. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So here, so accommodator. So here they thought of identifying the learners into accommodator, and then converger, diverger, and assimilator. So here, converger is one who is able to apply the knowledge in required situation, and they are well versed in applying the theories. And the diverger, here also it depends on the concrete experiences, and they can reflect very actively in a experimental stage, and also they are keen observers, and they can relate the concepts, and they can identify the interrelationship between the concepts, and they can observe that, and they are very strong in imagining the something. Their imagination power is too good, and so that even abstract ideas can be interpreted by them very quickly and in a very strong manner. So last one is a assimilator. So assimilator also good at strong at this inductive reasoning. That means through examples they can identify the main aspects of the presentation, and then also they can create the theories, and then abstract conceptual. They are good at abstract conceptualization, and then they can reflect on their observation very well. See here. It may be accommodator or converger or diverger or assimilator. Whatever may be the title, the thing is when you give the experiments, when you focus their attention on the hands-on experiments, then only they'll be able to understand the concepts. Only thing is a little bit deviations will be there. This is the focus of David Kolbach's model. So here they ended up with the Butts learning cycle. What this learning cycle says is, they'll start with experience, and then they'll move to observation, from observation to conceptualization, and then from conceptualization to experimentation, again experimentation to experience. So here, this theory says that at least some quantum of experience is needed in order to, 1 minute. How can I go back to the same slide?
Slide ಮೇಲೆ click ಮಾಡಿ.
Yeah.
Page up or page down.
Okay. Fine. Now, so here, some quantum of experience is very, very essential. Based on this only, one can understand the concept. This was their notion. So here, this theory specified that basic experience will lead to appropriate learning situation. So that is why experience should be considered in order to reach the students appropriately. So here we need to identify their experience first. And then based on the experience, we have to give experiments or required situation. In the required situations, they'll make keen observation. So through their observation, they will try to assimilate the concept. So based on which they'll be able to relate the concepts and construct the knowledge, and then through experiment, again from after understanding the concept, conceptualization is over, means again they will try to experiment it, and they will confirm the idea and understand the concept. This was the concept given by the David Kolbach and his associates. So here we can take our students to higher level through minimum knowledge and minimum experience and through minimum skills. So here, one who is able to get the knowledge through inductive reasoning or through experiments will be in a position to find the ways of accommodating the various aspects of education system and facts. And then converger is one who can formulate the theories by integrating whatever the facts and figures observed by him or her. And then a diverged learner will be in a position to apply the knowledge and formulate the theories. And like this, but it says completely that the learner's learning depends completely on the way in which we are going to engage them, the way in which we are going to allow them to explore the knowledge. So it means complete independent learning situation should be given in order to explore the knowledge. This was the idea of David Kolbach's model. So next, the Peter Honey and Alan Mumsford's model. So here also, they proceeded with the same thing, learning cycle. Learning cycle always starts with having experience. They must possess minimum experience in order to involve themselves in learning situation. We know this very well. None of the students come to education system without any experience, without any knowledge. So some quantum of experience will be there, knowledge will be there, that should be tapped in order to engage them actively in learning situation. So here accordingly we have to create learning situation and we can engage the students accordingly. So here they will slightly deviate from this, having experience, considering that based on which we have to provide learning situation. Fine. After giving this one, we must allow our learners to review the experience. This is very, very important, where they are going to reflect upon what they have got as experience. See here, reviewing again depends on involvement of the learner and also active involvement of the information provider too. So here, both of them should participate actively in learning situation in order to gain benefits. The benefit that will be enjoyed by the instructor is achieving his objectives, and the benefit gained by the learner is reviewing the experience, that means reflecting upon it in order to arrive at a certain new ideas and can relate the components appropriately. So here, after relating the components and arriving at one common idea, the learner will be able to conclude the experience. This is very, very important. Arriving at conclusion depends on the learner's highest ability of reflecting on it and constructing the knowledge. So this ability can be developed by us by providing the challenging learning atmosphere to the students. So here, based on this, they will plan their future learning activities. This is very, very important. How they can do this? This is very, very important. See here, the planning depends on all these events: experience, basic experience, and reviewing the same thing, and participating in the new situation and arriving at conclusion, and based on which they can plan their activities. So this theory concentrates on the individual's experience and preferences. Each of us will vary, though we are given with the same learning condition. Definitely we will vary in our expression, vary in our grasping power, and vary in interpreting the things. This we know very well. So here, individuals' involvement is very, very important in learning the situation. At the same time, they too will speak up the preferences. What do you mean by these preferences? I mean, we be well versed in understanding the concepts expressed orally, or concepts expressed visual through visual medium, or something like that. Or some I may expect my mentor to give everything through hands-on experiments only. So something like this. So here, individuals' experience and preferences are considered by this Peter Honey and Alan Mulber's model. So here, they have classified again learners into activist, reflector, theorist, and pragmatist. So if we look at these words, we can understand the learning style of the learners. Activists are those who are able to participate actively in learning the situation and taking the initiation in doing the things. So we have observed the learners. Some will be sitting simply, they are very quiet, they are in receiving end, and some will take initiation in participating actively in getting the things done, and they will see that that event should end up with very good result. So such learning style will be there. They'll be very active in grasping the things and pooling all the resources and participating actively in learning situation. And reflectors are those who can understand the concepts like activists. Not only that, here they will reflect on it and they will add their contribution in order to arrive at unique results and unique opinion. So here they will reflect upon the situation. Just they won't take active initiation. Along with that, they will reflect upon the situation and try to understand the concepts in a unique manner. So here, theorists, they'll go to next level. There, they will arrive at the conclusion and they will formulate theories or assumptions based on which they will contribute to the situation or to the society. So here they are called theorists. So here it is quite higher order, and very few learners will be participating at the higher level in order to and grasp the concepts. And pragmatists, we know that they believe everything on the basis of what they are going to experiment, what they are going to observe, and what they are going to relate, and what they are going to understand out of what they observe. So here, everything should be practically oriented. This is what advocated by this pragmatist. That means such a learners believes only on the activities and the experimentation. So if they get a solid result, solid conclusions, then only they'll be able to understand the concepts. So here also, this theory revolves around individuals' participation and individuals' preferences, and how they are going to understand the concepts. So here, the teachers or informers' responsibility lies in creating such a challenging situation. Though it is very difficult, but we have to think of it. If we know the pulse of the students, then only we can think of integrating the different set of methods of teaching, and then we can engage the students actively in learning situation. Of course, it is very difficult to think of engaging all the students simultaneously in one particular method of teaching, but we can think of changing the methods of teaching according to the learners.
That's the issue. Not copying
ರವಿ ಸರ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರವಿ ಎಚ್.
Shall I?
Okay, continue, madam.
Okay. Okay. Next, NASSP model, National Association of Secondary School Principals. They conducted a survey and they tried to trace out how the learners learn. So here, nearly 1,500 students were engaged in a survey, and they tried to obtain the information regarding the ways in which the learners learn the concepts. Here, they said learning as a gestalt. We know the meaning of it. That means they won't rely upon the parts, but they rely upon the whole. So this was the main idea focused by this NASSP model. So here they think that the composite learning is nothing but composite of internal and external, depends on internal and external operations. So here, so how they are going to involve themselves actively in understanding the concepts. So here, their input has got influence on how they are going to receive the information. That means again, it speaks of something about the what knowledge they possess while taking entry into understanding the concepts. So here, new acquisition of new knowledge completely depends on their quantum of knowledge possessed towards particular event or particular knowledge. So here, internal and external operations will play a major role in acquiring the knowledge. So here they speak of the main ideas which we know very well: cognitive styles, affective styles, and physiological styles. So here, cognitive styles speak of something about the perception of knowledge and its organization, and how the individual is going to retain it. We know this very well. How the learner is going to perceive the knowledge, maybe through observation, maybe through indirect experience, that means listening. So they will try to imagine the thing, and how they are going to structure it, and how they are going to identify the relationship in order to organize the concepts. So here, organization of concept depends on the interrelationship that we are going to identify among the different concepts in an event or in a situation. So here, retention completely depends on the quantum of interest of the student, and also how they are going to pay their attention in order to learn the concepts. This is very, very important. So here, retention depends on the processing of information. This we know very well. So how they are going to hold the information and how they are going to process in order to retain them for the permanent. So here, retention depends on the quantum of attention that they are going to pay in a learning situation. See here, this affective, excuse me, affective styles. Individuals' motivational approach is very, very important. So here, affective styles means their feelings and their level of motivation, their interest, all these things will play a major role in understanding the concept. This we know very well. And then here, physiological, it's almost related to what we speak of during this domains of objectives. So here also, reaction to physical surrounding and how they are going to construct the knowledge through their participation in practical aspects. So here they will try to construct the knowledge according to their experiences. So here, though they classify all these things, students into different categories, we have to consider one significant point that all these will be having their influence on learning the concepts. So here we can mention some like a project method and a problem solving method. So here we are concentrating on the main theme of this, which is given by Walter Bach-Bobbe model, as he and his associates tried to classify the students like this, based on their way of understanding the concept, visualizing modality, and then auditory modality, and then kinesthetic modality. We know this very well. Visualizing modality means the students learn better if they observe the things, if they learn through models or visual objects. If they see that, then only they'll be able to understand. This is the basic idea. Excuse me. So here, auditory modalities, we know this. They will listen, they will understand, and raise questions if they don't understand, and then they will try to process the information according to their assimilation. Kinesthetic, we know, they depend on, excuse me, depend on hands-on experiment. So here they are very active. They want to touch something. They want to do something. That means it depends on learning by doing. So this is the model which lays a foundation for present theories of learning styles. So here Walter Bach identified or grouped the learners into three categories: visualizing on the basis of their vision, and on the basis of oral skills, auditory modality, and then kinesthetic modality. So here we have to think of integration between the muscular activities and the mental picture. So this led to modern learning styles. So Walter Bach model is also called WAC model. So here Neil Fleming in 1992, it seems, he gave this one, VARK. That means visual learning, oral learning or auditory learning, and then reading or writing learning, and kinesthetic. About MM, I'll tell you later. Actually, this Neil Fleming concentrated on 4 modalities of learning. So here, what does this work tells about? See here, Fisher, how the individual is able to view the things, grasp the different elements of the event or the picture, and how the learner is going to relate them in order to arrive at the conclusion or understand the concepts. Here, auditory, we know that they are good at listening skills and they can listen to it and understand the concepts expressed by the presenter orally. And then here, read or write. They are very good at reading the text and writing, presenting their understanding in a written form. And in kinesthetic means we know how they are going to involve themselves very actively in learning the concepts by involving themselves in hands-on experiment, how they are going to integrate their mental picture and the physical activity. See, visual learning. So here, these learners possess strong observation power. So here, if we provide information through graphs, charts, diagrams, symbols, etc., they'll be in the position to understand the concepts. Here, they can observe minute aspects of an event or picture. This is very, very important. They are very keen observers. They can focus their attention in such a way that every aspect of the event will be visualized by them. And out of their observation, they can relate the concepts accurately. So here, they can arrive at conclusion on the basis of their observation and by integrating the concepts. So here, so their concretizing the concepts completely depends on their observation. Here we have got one more thing, neuroimaging. This is very important. See, whenever we start coding the information, that will be converted into first words to images or vice versa. This is very, very important. When we observe something, for example, if they observe a picture of an experiment, and then what are the different parts of it, they will try to understand what is it and how we can understand the concepts and what are the different aspects to be considered there. And then if they are going to conduct this experiment with a neutralization experiment, or if they observe a map of Karnataka, or if they observe some flower or something like that, they will try to develop the concept of that. So here, when I mention this word rose, then they will visualize the same thing. So in order to give them accurate ideas, we have to give them objects or models or charts or diagrams. So they have got experience in imagining the things. They can obtain the imagine, that means pictures through imagine the concepts. So their imagination completely depends on how they are going to observe the things. So here, this neuroimaging says that words to images and then images to words. If they're able to imagine the things accurately, then they'll be able to learn the concepts very well, and it will be having a everlasting impression on their mind in grasping the things and understanding the concepts. So here we can think of refer to demonstration method, wherein we can think of demonstrating experiment, showing the things, showing the charts, and integrating the concepts according to the nature of the picture. So something like this. So we know the criteria to be considered while preparing the graphs, charts, and diagrams and symbols. We know this very well. So we have to train our students to use appropriate graphs appropriate charts, and they should be very simple, and charts and diagrams must communicate the ideas clearly. So there should not be too much lines and too much graphic representation. Representation should be simple, and they must give a clear idea about the concepts. Then only they can obtain appropriate images in their mind, and they can retrieve it back very easily. So here the words associate themselves with the images, and then when they see the images, then they'll be able to express their ideas very well. This is the notion about this visual learners. So here, this is very, very important. We have to keep our students actively in observing the things, because just showing the picture, showing the graph, showing something or model won't help us too much in making the learners to be active in learning the concepts. So here we have to think of involving them actively in learning situation. So for example, we know very well. So look at this picture, and how is this picture? What are the facts you can make out, and how you can interpret the things? So all these things we can think of while presenting. Just showing is not enough. Integrating that with our explanation is very, very important. So here we have to think of using appropriate kind of aids in order to reach the students. And also it must be simple and visible to all the students. This we know very well. So here we have to engage them actively in learning situation. We have to draw their attention on the objects or models or charts which we are going to use in the classroom. This we have to consider while engaging students in learning the concept. See here. Next one is auditory or oral learning. This is very, very important style of learning. So here this says that for these kinds of learners possess strong listening power. This is very, very important. So here they can focus their attention on whatever being presented to them, and also verbal information will reach them very quickly and in a very effective manner. So somehow they'll be very attentive, though they don't focus their attention on the teacher. They'll be focusing their attention on the whatever that is being expressed orally in the classroom. So they're all attentive listeners. We can make out that they will nod their heads, or they'll be focusing their attention on the presentation. Sometimes, the students repeat the words, and they'll be able to express their ideas in the classroom, and after grasping they will ask questions for the clarification, something like that. And they enjoy this indirect experience. That means when you say something about the object, or explain something about the event, they will try to develop this experience indirectly. That means others' experiences can be understood clearly by such learners, and they are well versed in interpreting the ideas. This is very, very significant capacity that these types of learners possess. So we must help them to interpret the things accurately. This depends on how we are going to give examples, and how we are going to analyze them, and how we are going to relate the different concepts orally, and how we are going to analyze the situation accurately. This is very, very important. So we have to train our students to analyze the given situation in order to help the students to arrive at a unique conclusion. So here we can think of a lecture method which we used to have since years. But our lecturing must be associated with good number of examples, good number of analysis. So all these things we need to do in order to help our students to understand the concepts. Next, see here, how we can reach the audience. To reach the audience, here we have to think of a content. So content can influence the audience. Again, audience can influence the selection of the content, the quantum of knowledge. Here, the very tone modulation, the way in which it is being given to the students also influence the influence understanding of the concepts. And then if we are clear about the purpose of learning something, then only we'll be able to grasp the content or whatever that is being given to us. See here, we have to make them to understand this purpose. We are for what purpose they are going to, what is the objective of learning that particular content, and what is the purpose of engaging themselves in that particular learning situation. This is very, very important. Then only they'll be able to learn concepts. See here, if the purpose is clear, definitely we can catch the attention of the audience. And then the very tone, it must be clear and there must be modulation. So we know how we are going to present the concepts to the students. So here we can reach our students because they are good listeners. They'll be able to concentrate on whatever that is being presented in the classroom, and they can try to understand the concepts correctly. So here the good listeners, actually, they'll stop their activity, concentrate on presentation, they will listen to it, and then they'll be very quiet during the presentation, and they'll be looking at the points which they are going to get and jot down the points, and then try to interrelate all the points that is being presented to them accurately. And then there was a straight and focus their attention on the presentation given by the presenter. So here they will not disturb anybody. They will try to focus their attention on aspects to be considered and how they can understand the concept. Next one is kinesthetic learning. See here, this is developed on the basis of John Dewey's principle, learning by doing. Learn via experience. So if we provide situation to obtain experience, definitely they'll be able to learn the concepts very well. So here actively learner is going to explore the knowledge of the world, and then this could be done through providing science projects as experiments, and they enjoy moving, touching the things and doing something or the other in the classroom. So here we have to engage them in a meaningful experimental condition, and also we can give them projects in order to do the things very well. And only thing is they will concretize the knowledge through their activities. So here creating such a learning situation is very, very important. So we have to think of students in drawing the diagram and sketching, and then experimenting, and also observing and touching the flowers or instruments in the classroom. All these things could be provided to the students in order to learn the concepts. So here we need to understand one important thing. There must be coordination between the mental picture and the muscular activities. Then only they'll be able to grasp the content very well. So concretization of knowledge entirely, purely depends on how they are going to involve themselves in learning situation. So accordingly, we have to create learning situation to the students. So here we have to think of involving students in preparing teaching aids, or drawing a picture, or we can think of assembling the different parts of the model, something like that. Then they'll be able to understand the concepts very well. So kinesthetic learners are very active in practical aspects, hands-on experiments, and they will try to obtain the first-hand experience in order to concretize the concepts. So accordingly, we have to provide learning situation in the classroom. See here, reading or writing learning style. So here also we can identify the reading strategies such as predicting, visualizing, and then connecting the ideas. And then if they are finding some gap between whatever being provided to them and whatever they have assimilated, definitely they will raise questions and they will obtain clarification. And they will try to evaluate whatever that they have read. See here, this is these readers are very, very keen in finding the points and relating them, and between the lines they will observe whatever being presented to them. So that means constructing the knowledge purely depends on how they are going to involve themselves in reading the textbooks, reading the books, reading the novels. They'll show very much interest in understanding the concepts by reading the books. It's just presenting some idea in the classroom won't help them much, but they themselves will engage themselves in understanding the concept. That is why we have to suggest a good number of books in the classroom, and we have to focus their attention on the books in order to
got medals in BA.
Yeah. Excuse me.
The topper of the College of Presidency.
Sorry.
In that, yes, is a challenge or the qualifying exam for Indians. Very few persons in
Shalini
that
madam.
has to pass.
Hello,
But
Shalini madam,
due
mute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ.
to disability, he couldn't get entrance due to his health issues. And
Dr.
led
Shalini.
to physics in the Presidency University
Madam.
College in 1907. He got legendary experiments on science, and he introduced the concept of light scattering. What is light scattering is?
Kindly unmute from HRDC center only.
Shall I?
Okay, madam, you continue.
Okay, madam, continue, madam.
Okay. So here we know what the good readers will do. So here preview. Usually whenever pick up a book, first they will look at the front page and last page, and then they will scan everything, and then they will try to learn, read the book, and then visualize, see characters, actions. So all these things, facial expressions, all these things we can notice. And then they will try to ask questions. They will try to predict what happens in future, or what happens if situations are going to change like this. So all these things they will try to predict, and out of their prediction they will try to draw inference, and then they will try to connect the ideas, whatever they have. For example, author might have given the information in one particular way, but they will add their own notion of what they have understood, and they will try to interpret the things in their own way, and how they are going to understand it. So here they will try to summarize it. So we have to make our students, or encourage our students to read the books properly. And whenever they read the books, they need to jot down the points in order to record their observation. This is very, very, very important. We must engage our learners in having a brief idea, providing brief idea regarding whatever that they have read. See, many of the students, or many of us will read, but do we record our observations? This is very, very important. But good reader always does this. They will try to record their observation, and they will try to interpret everything. See, writing learners. So writing. So here how we are going to write. This is very, very important. After reading something, we have to record our observation with accuracy and attributions and fairness, brevity and clarity. See here, if we are able to consider all these factors, then only we will be able to arrive at a concrete idea, and also we can present the concepts with utmost clarity, and we'll be able to conclude the things very well. This is very, very important. So we need to focus our attention on how we are going to process whatever that we have read and whatever that we have understood, and that should be recorded in terms of writing. So here, only few learners will be in a position to express their ideas very well in written script. This we know very well. So we have to train our students to record their observations or interpret the things and write. So it's not just grammatical correctness, but how we are going to present the idea is very, very important. During examination, while evaluating, we have understood many aspects. So many students will be committing mistakes in presenting their ideas. Grammatical mistakes will be there, but in spite of it, they'll be having ideas in presenting their understanding. So here, very good writers are those who are able to present their ideas in a written form clearly. See, so when we think of clarity of presentation, we have to understand the components of writing. So this starts with the purpose. So here, why we need to write should be known to us. So based on the purpose, we will take initiate in structuring our thinking. Our thinking purely depends on why we are doing this one. So here, with the clarity, then only we will be able to write anything that we have understood with clarity. So readers can interpret the ideas. So reading and writing goes to hand in hand with each other. So coherence of ideas, this is very, very important. They will try to connect the ideas to create unified argument or thought. This is very, very important. So if you are going to derive that means conclusion, you should be in a position to give justification to it, isn't it? So we have to train our students to understand that fact and how they can process their thought and how they can place their argument. This is very, very important. So in this style, depends on structuring, vocabulary, and correctness. So one must focus his or her attention in structuring the ideas and presenting it, and with the full clarity, one should present the ideas. So here we have to train our students to acquire this ability. See here, in this, actually, this Neil Fleming suggested only 4. But later, researchers and educationists started arguing that it is a myth. We cannot say that a learner will learn through only one modality of learning, or such thing won't exist. So that they recorded as pseudo myth in education. No such idea can be encouraged here, they say. But when they started arguing this one, again, researchers engaged themselves in finding the truth of it and tried to prove the facts which they have identified. So more than 80% of the researchers were of the opinion that we cannot say that it is a pseudo myth, but it results in meshing styles. That means every learner starts with one modality as main style, which will include other modalities too. That means if a learner is observing something, obviously he'll be listening to the whatever being presented. That means observing the model and listening to the various aspects of it will have its impact on processing the information. This is very, very important. So here, if a learner starts with, is well versed in auditory style, means obviously other styles will be having its influence on it. And if a learner is going to have this ability, visual modality style, definitely it will be influenced by other modalities too. So why we have to think of a learning style then? What makes us to think of basic preferences of the learner? Few researchers have proved the fact that few researchers have proved the fact that there is no connection between the preferences of the learners and the modality which we are going to provide the information. So only a few, but still researchers are trying to prove the fact that meshing style is very, very important. So where we can think of multimodal learning so that we can integrate different styles of learning in order to help the learner to understand the concept. This is very, very important. So how we can do this, how we can achieve this one. So if, for example, if I start with a lecture demonstration method, obviously I'll think of lecturing, and that means explaining the concepts, and at the same time I'll be demonstrating something so that I can help my students to observe something, and at the same time they can listen to me, so that whatever that is being observed by them will be concretized through the oral presentation. That means their auditory sense and then visual sense will be exercised more. And at the same time, they will say that not only two modes, other styles can be presented in order to help the students to understand. The thing is, why we have to think of this again, learning style then? Usually what happens is, all of us will be having our interest in one main modality. Every one of us will be having an interest in one main modality, to which other modalities will be having influence. So one modality will start with one modality, and other modalities too will be there in understanding the concept. So here, identifying one such modality is very, very important in order to help the learner to understand the concepts very well. That's all the main theme between this meshing style. So we cannot neglect the basic modality of a learner in understanding the concepts. Along with the preference of the learner, we have to think of providing information through other modalities, then only will be effective in reaching the student. This is what this meshing style says. So it is added by, again, Berg and Neil Fleming and other associates later. In 2020, they have added. Actually, in 2004, experiments started, and then they were able to confirm this idea, meshing styles, in around 2020. So, yeah. Ways of identifying learner's learning style. This is very, very important. How we can identify? Quickly, I'll review this one. See, learning style, visual. So here, they like to read and show intense concentration while reading, while observing. So here, they remember better by seeing charts and diagrams. And then auditory, here, easily lose their focus, but prefer written directions and overspoken directions and enjoy music. So this is their basic nature. And kinesthetic, move a lot while studying, and sometimes though this kinesthetic learners, they'll be writing something and doing something at the same time, they'll be watching something. So it means at a time they can concentrate on two events. So like to participate actively in learning situation, doing the things, exploring the knowledge on their own. And reading and writing, they like to read and narrate and descriptions very well, thoughts, all these things can be processed. See here, how we can do the things. See, if we don't allow our students to ask questions, definitely they'll be not in a position to understand the concepts properly. So we have to allow our students to ask questions and participate actively in arriving at the judgment or arriving at the conclusion. So we have to help in such a way that they'll be in a position to grasp the knowledge and restructure their knowledge, and they can contribute to the knowledge system. So here, based on this, again, they have derived 3 more styles. As usual, visual, auditory, physical, and verbal. And then logical. So here, the pattern, statistics, so this they are going to well versed with. And then social styles, that means collaborative learning, team, that means groups, how they are going to interact with each other and how they are going to contribute to the group. All these things will be observed here. And solitary. There are some students, in spite of participating in the group, they will remain as a separate entity. So that means they prefer to learn independently, and their individual preferences will play a major role in understanding the concepts. Though they are in the group, they will try to identify themselves independently. This is actually solitary learners not problematic, but if we neglect them, definitely it will become a problem. So here, recently in these 8 learning styles are so it is said, but these 7 learning styles are considered now. Whatever may be the learning style, it's our duty to engage our students actively in learning situations. This is very, very important. So here, first we need to identify their basic style of learning, and then we can engage them in learning situation. And here, other modalities also will play a major role in making them to understand the concept. So here, with this, let me tell you a story. Please concentrate. Shall I? Hello?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Fine. See you. There was a farmer. He had 2 sons. As the age started occupying, he started educating his children. So he went to first son and said, please take care of these lands and all. You have to grow very well, and it helps you to earn your livelihood. Not only that, it will help you in redefining your position in the society, and all these things he said. So son said, okay, father, I'll do it. But he didn't. But father again went to this second son and said, yes, son, you have to engage yourself in land related activities. You have to grow very well. Then only you'll be able to fetch your earnings, and you can lead your comfortable life, he says. And then the son neglected his and said, no, I don't want. But he does. God asks now, who is the best son? Hello? What did you get from this? Hello, dear. Who is the best son? God now is asking, who is the best son?
Both are best sons.
Both are best son. Okay, fine. Any different answer?
Second son is individually decision taker.
Individually, second son. Okay. Why you would like to prefer on second son? Yes, madam. Okay, fine. See, you might have observed how I have narrated the story. I was quite very speedy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Intentionally, I expressed that story like that only. It took hardly 30 seconds, isn't it? So where if we express our thoughts or ideas like this in the classroom, they'll not be in a position to understand anything. So we have to focus their attention, and then we have to make them to understand the concepts. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Now, if I know the answer, I'll try to answer your questions. Hello?
No questions, ma'am.